From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher, and our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered, soon-to-be millionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission? To fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with us, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training Podcast.
And welcome to Shifting Points Podcast.
Who else is hosting?
Well, from Shifting Points, I'm Audra.
From Shifting Points also, I'm Jess.
And from Shifting Points, I'm Kathy.
And the Garage Heroes are Vicky Fisher
and Jennifer.
And Bill's in training, I guess, because that's who it is. But anyway, we're here. We're doing a multiple podcast. So if you subscribe to both of these, just make sure to download them. Listen to the same one if you want to twice. Might be interesting. We'll see. So ladies, I am geometrically not allowed to participate this weekend, but you guys have a plan, and it's a rather intricate plan. It's an amazing plan. I'm jealous. Vicky won't let me go, but that's fine.
Well, so Bill, just to make a note that you're not the only one. Vicky, what did you say, that he's butthurt? He's not the only one who's butthurt. I actually also banned Greg, so Greg is not allowed to come either.
Yeah.
He was just going to do homework, though. He wasn't going to do anything special.
See, I was going to be an instructor because I got an invite to come over and do instructor. Vicky's like, no, you can't go. I'm like, okay, thanks. But fine. Ladies, we all know what we're doing. Jess, what are we doing this weekend?
We are doing a MassTuning event, a ladies novice track day event. Yay! Even though we all aren't all novices, some of us are very, very veteran.
Yeah, I don't think it's not novice only. Just
it's not novice only?
No,
No.
novices.
I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, wow. What the heck?
Well, for us,
you picked
it
the wrong
started
person to ask.
because, Jess and Kathy are novices.
Yes.
And it all started with a conversation in one of our podcasts to get Kathy out on the track. And then we all glommed on, and now it's a big thing, and we're going to have so much fun because it is.
I'm so excited.
Now, has anybody been to Canaan before?
No.
No, but we were told, so a previous guest on our podcast we had on Tedward, who made it sound approachable to me, had mentioned that the MassTuning events at Canaan were probably the most novice friendly. It's a novice friendly track and a novice friendly group and all of those things. So that's kind of how I picked this day. And then it was a ladies day. So of course I was like, well, duh, we need to do this. And then away we went.
Yeah. So doing the research on it just a little bit, I am gathering, I think it's like a 1.3 track. 1.3 miles. Yes. And that they have 3 levels. So also from what I'm understanding is that they're catering all the instructors to level 1, which is great. That's as far as I've got on it. I don't know how the structure's set up. I haven't really been contacted by anybody yet, but so I'm not really sure about it, but I'm really excited to be out there with a bunch of girl drivers and making some connections.
Me too.
That's going to be awesome.
So do you guys know anybody else who's going besides the 5 of you?
No.
Are we supposed to?
I don't know. It's more towards your side of the world. So we thought maybe you might have
This
some
is
friends.
pretty much how I've done every other motorsports event in which I don't know a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
Don't know a lot of people that are
Right.
going, don't know what the track is, and we're just going to show up and see what happens.
Just show up.
Pretty much.
Just say
yeah.
yes.
So,
Just say
I mean,
yes.
okay. We've talked about this previously, again, on our podcast, excuse me. I am not the most excited. Jess and Audra are super excited. Audra's at least been on a track before. Jess, you have not, right?
I have not. I've just done like touring laps in my mini
But you're
long time
super
ago.
excited about it.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm not the super excited part. I'm doing this because I'm not excited.
So tell
makes
us,
sense.
tell
But
us what you were nervous about.
Well, no. So hold on. So wait. I'm going to back up a second. So yeah, I've done the research. I'll do air quotes around that, even though no one can see me, because I want to know as much as I can right before I go, except for the whole thing, like Jess says, that like we frequently just show up and just do things without knowing anything about them. But so tying that all into, it's really, really interesting talking to different people because, like you guys, you ladies that have far more experience with this have, I'm not going to say you've forgotten what it's like to be new, but you're far from that place. And I don't just mean you, I mean anybody that I've talked to about this who's done track days and all of that, right? So like the things that you start to throw out at a new person that you're like, oh, you need to check this, you need to do that, and you need to do this. And it seems like it's helpful because you're throwing all of your expertise at a newbie. But honestly, like I just go, and I don't know if you guys swear on your podcast, you can bleep it out, but I hear all that and I just go like it's too much. I thought this was approachable. It now suddenly sounds not approachable, right? It sounds like I need to have a super amazing car. I need to have all of this stuff. I need to check all of these things, blah, 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 blah. Right. So you're shaking your head at me. And that's true. So I went back to the event site because I was freaking out. And I looked at their sheet, and what their sheet said, here's what you need to have. Here's what you need to check. One, that they made multiple assurances that novice, which is good because I don't know what I'm doing. Two, that novices, as you mentioned, Vicki, will get like preference for instructors, right? We get instructors ahead of everybody else. Three, the checklist was pretty chill. The checklist was very similar to like an autocross checklist. Your car has to be drivable, go figure. And your battery has to be tied down. Like, it was a very similar to autocross checklist. And it totally helped me calm down, because I will say, like, having everything thrown at me, I totally get it. Like it's a funny semi-related thing, and I will stop talking so much, I swear, and let other people speak. But this weekend before the track day, Jess and Audra, I offered to take them hiking, and I go hiking a ton. I hike a lot. I hike super long hikes. I hike crazy hikes. I backpack, blah, blah, blah. And I realized I started to throw my expertise at them. I was like, here's all the things that you need to bring, and here's what you don't need to bring, and I have everything, and it's gonna be cool, and blah. And I'm like, oh my God, they're probably freaking fuck out, because I'm like, you need to have all these things when we're probably gonna go on like a 3-mile hike in which they can bring a Poland Spring bottle of water and their sneaker.
That's what I've been raising my hand saying, like, I want to speak. And guess what I was going to say? I was like, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, you texted like all this stuff about the hike. And I was like, I'm way more nervous about the hike than anything. So you nailed it. So yeah, it's perspective. It's all about perspective.
Yeah. And I totally get it. You want to vomit out all of your expertise to help someone who doesn't know these things. But at the same time, all of that expertise can be overwhelming for a new person. And I guess I wanted to say it for myself, like, I went back and read the list, and I'm relaxed now a little bit, not totally, but also for anybody who's listening, right? Anybody who is like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this track day. It sounds like a lot. I have to have all these crazy things that I don't know about. It's fine. It's okay. The expertise is great, but it's okay.
So the things that are really, there's kind of grades of importance that you can do for a track day. And the first thing you got to do is just relax and have fun. Because especially if it's your first one, you're not going to go fast enough where you need the super duper tires. You're not going to go fast enough where you need the super duper brake pads. I would say the things you need to do that are important is make sure the car is running. Make sure it's safe. If you feel like doing brake fluid to a .4, great. If you don't, it's not going to matter. And then there's like different levels past that.
.4, what the hell is that? I don't even know what that means.
So dot 3 is regular brake fluid, the old style brake fluid, and dot 4 is a little higher temperature, so it can handle a little more temperature in the brakes. But most everybody uses dot 4 standard now anyway. If you go get your brake fluid done, most places do dot 4 because it's just a little better. That's all.
So Kathy,
I
got my oil changed and I was like, can you just make sure there's brake fluid there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just make sure it's there. I'm like, that's what I need right now. And he's like, yeah, you're fine. And I
So-
was like, okay, good.
You guys are like, check your fluids. I'm like, yeah, I have windshield wiper fluid. I'm good.
That's good. You need that.
Did you
Okay.
check the headlight fluid?
Right.
It's the blinker fluid that tricks
Blinker
everybody.
fluid. Yeah.
So let's start with the most important part. What are you guys doing that has nothing to do with the track this weekend?
Well, I'm
Hiking.
taking Audra and Jess hiking, and now it sounds like Jen. I don't know. You're showing up sooner, so I don't know if you want to join us.
Vicky.
Vicky
Vicky's
made me
coming.
hearing about this for
Vicky's
the first
coming.
time. Vicky's gonna come hiking.
No pressure. Are you coming hiking with us?
We're going hiking.
This is the very first time I heard about hiking.
Go, Vic.
That's okay. I just heard she was going on Friday this morning, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We
And
could
now
do a
she's
whole
doing hiking.
podcast on that weekend.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
So,
Well,
ladies,
there's a fire pit and a billiards room and lake passes. And what else was there? There's something else. Oh,
The
there's
hot
a
tub that's
refrigerator in the
closed.
billiard. The
And
hot
the
tub
hot
is
tub's
closed.
closed. Yeah.
And there's a refrigerator in the billiards room because the refrigerator.
And there's
Okay,
hiking.
so
And it's
that's
on a
nice,
golf
but yeah.
course in case any of us golf.
Oh yeah, there was the golf. Yeah.
so this is a shindig. This is not a roughing it kind of weekend here. You guys have a house rented and festivities planned.
Well, that's how girls do it, Bill.
Well, whatever.
I had to get a massage therapist, but I was
just-
out of luck there. It's Canaan.
Yeah.
We're just extra.
I might get a pedicure for this weekend. We'll see.
For the weekend or during the weekend?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay,
Yeah.
very well.
Might make me drive better. I don't know.
Jess,
Can't-
that's like what. So
can't hurt.
Jess and I met at tech conferences, and everyone would always tweet before the tech conference that because it's all a bunch of dudes, right? They all got their tech haircut or their conference
Yes.
haircut, and Jess and I would say, "We got our conference petties."
Very well.
You're getting your track petty.
I'm getting my track petty.
So I believe
know.
race related, Miss Vicky is planning on helping make sure all the cars are prepped and ready and making sure you guys are comfortable with that when we go, because she'll have the full garage in the
No,
In the
it's not
trailer.
going to be a full garage.
trailer.
Yes, when we travel at HPDE, we have a very light setup. So it's going to have your tire temperature gauge. It's going to have chairs to sit on, a table to put our helmets on, maybe even helmetry. We'll have
Loose.
jacks and jack stands and
Fluids.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I love you so much. So wait, hold on. There was an earlier message in which you said we're gonna have the trailer, we're gonna have all the stuff so we can, be set. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, is she gonna like change my oil and stuff? Like she is like, is it gonna be like super whatever? And it's like, no, it's a helmet tree. This is awesome.
Do you know?
We do
You-
autocross.
you
We
know,
usually pop
here-
the helmets on a cone.
Here's the best thing
know?
I could tell Kathy to do is just go,
Yeah.
just
So-
do that. Just do
Otherwise,
that.
you're going to float away. You
Oh
gotta
my God.
exhale every now and then. You
Because
gotta-
honestly, these things are, we've done like 15, 20 of these, and they're not as complicated as you're envisioning them to be. They are the only thing you're going to be doing basically is you're going to have a person in the car, and they're going to drive around the track with you, and they're going to show you where to drive, where to brake. They're not even going to worry about speed. But the only thing that I wanted you to do is make sure that your car didn't show up with like bald tires, or you haven't changed your oil in like 2 years, So, I mean, you are going to be applying some stuff to your car, depending if you start getting really comfortable. So when we do an HPDE, we always, always, always carry the garage with us, because sometimes things happen. And I mean, usually nothing, but it's also a place that we can hub out of, because if not, you're just kind of out there and we don't know if it's going to be raining or not. So this way we have a place, we have shelter to actually be in and be comfortable in, which is another reason why we bring it. So but
And-
it just
And if a car does have a problem
Mhm.
and it's something happens, you break a rim or, these are very rare occurrences, but
look, you just did it to Kathy again.
I did, but I'm just saying, but if something happens and the car doesn't work,
Listen,
I've had like awful stuff happen at autocrosses. So it
But,
can,
you
it
know,
doesn't
the
have to
thing
be a
is-
track event. It can happen anywhere.
right.
but we have a
It's-
trailer to put the car in and we can get it away and everything's fine. There's no need to worry about it.
Now I have to travel with the trail. Well, majority at 95, I could, if I wanted to, not travel with the trailer. For me, being so far away, it's best that I travel with the trailer because I've actually had things happen to my car, but it is not bad that happens. Okay. But that's also because I'm running 10 for 10 in a level 2 or borderline 3. So
any of that means.
She's going
Okay.
as fast as she can.
I'm going as absolutely fast as I can, and I'm pushing myself. So
Got it.
I risk more, but also my car is a track car. So it's built for the track.
So that's another, again, I don't mean to make this all about me, but
Enough about you. What do you think about me?
that's another piece of why I don't have anxiety about like me driving on the track, which is probably the thing that I guess a normal person would have anxiety about. I have anxiety about my car.
Right.
One, because I'm like, I don't know enough stuff about cars, right? Like I know you'll be there and you're like, if something happened, cool, maybe we can fix it and whatever. But the extra layer of anxiety is that this is my daily driver. It's my only car, right? Like, and it's bad if your track car, something happens to it, but it's a little bit more, anxiety ridden for me that it's my car.
Mhm.
And so that's all. Like,
feel
I'm like,
this is going to be a
Does
lot
any-
different than how you're than like on the street.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But the earlier stuff where it was like, check this and check that gave me all that anxiety. I'm better now, I
okay.
said. And I
Okay.
could tell myself, I'm like, you know what? You can drive that track like your grandma going to a church potluck with chili in the back. Like, I
can.
hope I'll be
Yeah,
faster
because,
than that. But
You know, for level 1, you're not going to be doing things to your car. Say, for instance, like I'm doing stuff to my car.
right.
Because you are not worried about, they're not worried about speed for you. They're not worried about complicated passes at all or complicated zone.
Close
You're
proximity.
not right. You're not going to be worried about all that kind of stuff. You're not even going to go off track. So, I mean,
Fingers crossed. No.
well, for level 1, you won't. Because the only thing you're going to be doing is you're going to be working more on technique than you are on speed. You're going to be working on control and where to shift. So your daily driver for what you're doing right now is perfectly fine. It's not like you're going to be wheel to wheel racing somebody, and the chances are of you spinning out or something like that is not really going to happen to you.
Well, they told me that in autocross too, but proved I'm wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
But with this being your first event, you are the only person who's going to make you go faster. The instructor
Right.
will never say you got to go faster. You're not keeping up or anything like that. The instructor's there to help you at the pace that you want to be. And really, this track is small enough with short enough straightaways. It's like a autocross plus
With walls.
That's why I'm so
No,
excited about
I don't
this
think there's any
event.
walls. I've checked. There is
I
no
didn't
walls.
look.
I'm kidding.
I didn't see any.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
just please talk. I've totally
No,
hoarded.
I was
all
going to
of
say,
this.
no, you're all good. That's what this whole episode is about. So you're all good. But that's what I'm excited for about tomorrow. Like Bill was saying, they're never going to make you go faster than you feel comfortable with. And I don't know why, for some reason, I feel more comfortable learning in an all women environment. Like, I don't know why, like, it's just a weird psychological thing. I don't even think I can put words to it. Somehow it's my own problem to deal with, my own, being, and intimidated is not the right word, having to like project something that I'm not ready for. Like, I don't want to feel like I would do something stupid so that I don't feel like I look stupid. I don't have any of those pressures now. So that's one of the reasons why I'm super excited about this weekend. I think it's going to be just a really, really fun way to learn and get comfortable with the track.
That's one other thing I wanted to to kind of let you guys know of is that the kind of racing that, I mean, if you guys are dipping your feet into this and are very curious about the general dynamic, what you're thinking it might happen doesn't happen. There isn't anybody with puffed chests walking around and kind of shaming you for your driving skills. If anything, they're going to come up, and if you want a suggestion to help, they will help you. If there's anything wrong with your car, they will stick their head in your car. If anything happens to your car, you will have 5 guys and girls just over there handing you a part, trying to get
like
you.
It's like that at autocross too.
Right. It's not about who's going to win as much as having fun out there and actually wanting you to be on the track. I mean, no doubt they're competitive, but it's just like a weekend with your friends.
Yeah. Oh, I totally get that. And it's just, that's why I was trying to word it carefully. I feel like it's just like it's just one variable that's been removed.
Yeah. I mean,
really all it comes down to.
And HPDEs don't have that. And I know that Audra was saying she had a bad experience with it. And honestly, shame on that guy, because I have never, ever had that,
I mean, I had a bad experience at an autocross school too. I mean, it was a long time ago. It's come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I've been lucky. I've come to autocross much later. I've not had any issues, but that doesn't mean as a woman, you aren't like, there's that extra layer of tension sometimes where you're like waiting for it. Right. You're like, I'm not saying like, everybody or all the time or whatever, but there's definitely like I've had a guy come up to me and start to say something about my car, and I'm like, where is this gonna go? Is he gonna be sexist? And then like, no, he wasn't. Okay, cool. And again, like Jess said, that's my thing. I'm not saying that like that's whatever, but she's right that there'll be less of that being even a concern in my head, right? It's that's
what I mean. You're not ever waiting for the shoe to drop. That variable just doesn't exist. It's removed from the situation, so I can just focus on getting comfortable with the track.
And my thing has always been like when I'm racing is, damn it, I paid to be here too, and I paid to be on this track, and and I literally throw elbows. Well, on the track I do now, but it has nothing to do with being a guy or a girl. It's just, I paid a fair price to be here, and, go ahead, try to throw me out. They never would, but, that's my mentality when I'm on the track, just as like, effers, get out of my way,
And I think the level that you're in, I mean, you just kind of keep in mind, like everybody, like if you're in the beginner class, everybody's a beginner. Do you know what I mean? Everybody. So like, just kind of keep that, like whatever level you're in, like Vicki and I are in too. Like we know that everybody probably has a similar amount of skill and is there to do and get better. You know what I mean? Like just a little bit better each time. But the people that you're in the class with have the same skill, whether they're guys or girls or whatever. So
and probably have the same anxieties.
Yeah. They do. Yeah, and probably just don't talk about it.
Jennifer does for sure.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I'm telling you, I have. If you listen to some of our podcasts, I sound like a basket case. I'm like this anxiety-ridden person that just, I'm like, I got issues, and but I put it all out there. Like I'm an open book when it comes to this, like because I know a lot of people just don't talk about those anxieties, and
And of course, when you're on the racetrack trying to overcome that fear, taking it back to my very, very beginning and, pushing it to the limit of my skill. I don't know how many times when I'm going into the brake zone saying the F word as I'm going around the turn and just holding on. Because Audra pointed out that too. And that's what it's like. It's exhilarating. It's fun. You're going to be okay, but you also know you're pushing yourself. You're just like,
yeah, that's the like super, that's the exciting fun.
It is. It's a nervous excitement.
As opposed to the like oh shit, something's going to happen to my car anxiety. It's like, that's a less fun anxiety. The anxiety of being on the track and like, ooh, this turn or whatever.
If it makes you feel any better, if you would interested, I can do a walk around on your car and just kind of anything you need, anything you want. If you have any questions, I'm not going to try to throw experience out. I didn't realize I'd thrown experience out to you.
And please don't take
it's just my normal, every time that we get ready, it's kind of like, okay, this is the 2-week mark where we get our cars ready. And we're just in that role. So
and don't ever not do what you did.
Yeah. I was doing it to make you guys a little easier to know this is what's expected.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
a normal person is probably good.
have both had if you again, like in our podcast we've talked about that. In the beginning we were just so overwhelmed by the lingo. Like people would come up and talk to us and like when I started, I didn't even know what an apex was. I'm like, they're talking about what's an apex? Like I have no clue. So I mean, everybody was talking about all of these things way above our head, and we just had to. It was learning along the way, but we also talked about how overwhelmed we were by all of the input. So it was everything that we were learning, and then all of these terms we had never heard, and then but it just kind of, it slowly just kind of.
I always attribute it to, I don't know if back in the day, whatever, but anytime you were like learning a new skill or on a new job or playing a video game, when you had to learn the steps one by one as you're walking through, and that's what it was like. And it was, just walking in going, I know this is a process. But HPDEs, you're not going to have that. Where you're going into is going to be very, very basic for what they're going to be teaching you. Yeah,
because they're going to pull you in the classroom and going to say, this is an apex. You know what I mean? Like they're going to, before they put you on the track. I mean, just generally the ones that we've been to, the NASA ones. So, you get a little bit of instruction and then you go out and you practice that instruction. So it's not like they're just throwing you on the track and say, go drive. Do you know what I mean? So you're getting something, okay, now let's go out and practice it type thing. So it's very, very structured, which is
very
good.
Structured. Yeah. So they never just throw you all on on the track and just say, all right, let's go for it.
So one thing that I think doesn't come across, because, everybody looks at racing from the TV side of the world and the professional side of the world. When you're in an HPDE environment, especially, but even at grassroots racing, you're really not against everybody else. They're really part of your team. Like your level is part of your team. Vicky's and Jen have a team of people in their HPDE group that they go to all the time, that they're kind of like a little family there. And you guys are going to have that too, especially if you choose to pursue this with an organization and work your way through the level. You're going to actually start getting a bunch of friends, and you're going to kind of progress at almost the same levels, variable between people, but you kind of progress as through the ranks of the driving and learn and get better together. And you're going to become like this little team, and you're going to call each other, and you're going to say, hey, are you going to this next event? And even in the racing that we do, 90% or more of the teams are still a team with the other teams, because we're sharing a common interest, a common passion, and we're trying to get out there and literally we will give you a part that makes our car break, means we're done, but we'll give that to another team to get them out on the track, because it's more fun to go play with somebody else and go share this with you and see the people getting off the track with a big smile. So it's a team event, even though it's very personal, and you try to do your best and you try and compete against the other guys and girls and everybody else. But you just want to compete with fellow teammates on the track. And that's why people don't run into each other and don't typically cut off people on purpose. Now there's the 2% or the 5%, or choose a percentage. It's very low, that are jerks, that are there for their F1 sponsorship.
Not in HPDEs.
No, but they're trying to get their sponsorship to the F1 and at the HPDE too. So there's a couple of those, but they leave us. Yes, Miss Vicky.
Yeah. So the other thing too is when we were listening to the Shifting Points podcast, and Audra,
which everybody should.
Which everybody absolutely should. It absolutely should be like the #1 autocross racing podcast, because it's awesome. So, one thing that for Audra's experience out there, she kept feeling dive bombers. What you guys have to realize about the endurance racing on the track is, believe it or not, it is and as you start ranking up in HPDs, if you choose to do this, it is very much a collaborative race event, which means obviously you were feeling dive bombing. I think that you were probably just uncomfortable with the speed and proximity, and you might have one or two dive bombers, but they're if they are, they're probably.
It's a little jarring going from being alone to having people come around you and then right in front of you. So maybe I'm using the wrong term, but it was definitely jarring to me. I never, to your point, I think this is where you're going with it. You won't experience that at an HPDE because that's just not how it goes.
No. And the other thing too about when you're at the race events too, is that you have to work as a team, not our team, but as a group of 140 cars to get safely around the track. So it is way more collaborative than you really think it is. So it just doesn't appear to be. So, but again, you won't experience that at an HPDE until like level 3, maybe.
Why it's a shit show, Vicky.
Oh, stop. Stop.
So the other thing that you're gonna have, I believe all three of you are doing the HPD, the novice group. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Bill's actually an instructor for HPDE 1.
Right. But the most important thing you need to realize is I don't know this group, and I've never raced with them or had an HPDE with them. But especially for the novice group, you're going to have restricted passing zones. Usually they're going to be the straightaways, and it's going to be with a point by. And a point by is simply stick your arm out to the left, straight out, and tell them you're going to pass me on that side. Or stick your arm over the top of the car and say, pass me on that side. And you are in control of that. If you're in a zone where they can't pass you, they shouldn't be very close because you're in the HPD 1, the novice group. But there's nothing they can do. They can't pass you anyway. And, don't worry about it. And when you get to a zone, pass them by, let them go, have a good day. If they're in a faster car or they're just driving a little better, or if they're just more aggressive or whatever, you're the controlling party with the point by, and you let them go, and then don't worry about it and just drive your line.
Mm-hmm. And Kathy, your car going out there is nothing more than a Sunday drive. That's all you're going to be experiencing with your car. So if your car can handle a road trip, then your car is going to be perfectly fine for what you're going to be doing it for.
Right. And that's where I came to finally. Yeah. Maybe yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, if you could drive it there,
previously I was like freaking out, but that was where I finally ended up. Like, I can drive as slow as I want to. And if I'm driving really slow, then no more wear and tear than driving on the street is going to happen to my car. So that's where I got to. And I think that is a good thing. Again, for anybody who is listening and is thinking about this, and maybe they got overwhelmed and freaked out. Like, you don't have to drive 1 billion miles an hour and be passing people every 2 seconds. Like,
you'll actually be kicked out of HPD 1 if you do.
Yeah. So I wanted to also bring it back that the main reason why I am bringing the trailer, because I don't think I really did it, was that because we're traveling a distance, I need a car to get home in case something happens to mine. Or if anything happens to anybody else's car, I have a trailer to get it home to where you need to be. Not that it's going to end up being a pile of whatever, but say, for instance, that, you might have popped the tire. Your tire goes flat, or, something happened to the brake. So it's not like, anything bad. But for me, my car is not really street drivable, comfortable, because it's set up for a track. And then I just found out that Bill's axle is going, so we're not going to be bringing the BMW, which means right now I'm actually throwing stuff into my car to make sure it runs right now. So I've been working on that all day. So I'm bringing the little Miata instead. So I have a couple things to do to it and have a couple parts I'm putting on, but it doesn't drive well in the street. It's so uncomfortable. It feels every single bump. So I wouldn't drive it that far.
So it's funny to take it back to my other analogy with the hiking. And again, I threw a million things at poor Jess and Audra, and I realized I needed to shut up. But also, so it's the same thing. When I go hiking, I take a bunch of things that over years of hiking, I know is a thing that I like to have when I go hiking because it makes my hiking experience better. Is it a thing that every new person needs to have when they go on a hike? Not at all. But like, if you ask me, I'd be like, oh, you totally need to have a blah, 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 and a blah,
You need
blah,
to have
blah.
your shovel. You need to have your little palm shovel.
You need to have it's the equivalent of your trailer, you know?
Yeah. It's like a binky. It's like a blanket. You know, you make sure you have everything just in case.
Yeah. But, you know, I have all the things that I like to have after my experiences of hiking. So I get it. Like, yeah, it's not, does everybody need to have that? No.
There's the gotta have, and then there's the nice to have, and then there's the, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. We just know what works for us, which is why we're just kind of bringing it along. So.
All right. So most important part of going to the HPDE is obviously having fun. It sounds like you guys have the social side taken care of. It would not be a podcast I'm a part of if we didn't go through any goals. Anybody have any goals? Maybe 1, 2, any goals? Anyone? Bueller?
I'm just excited to finally do it. Like, honestly, like it's a goal fulfilled to even just get there.
That's a goal.
And do it. And so I'll be able to be like, check, okay, did it.
I did it. Right.
Okay.
So yeah.
How about you, Audra? You've already experienced one race and an HPDE.
Right. So my goal is to not lift in the places where you can continue flat on the gas. It was when I went to Tamworth, that was my biggest folly, was lifting instead of staying flat on until the point where I could brake. So that's what I'm going to be working on.
You did well on that with Thompson.
Did I? I don't know that I did.
Well, speaking as the person who looked at your telemetry and watched every lap that you did on it, you did good.
You did great.
Yeah, that's the one thing about racing is that you don't do a lot of braking. You do more soft braking and leveling the car than hardcore braking.
Yeah, you've got hard stop braking down, Audra. Just
we're not worried about you.
Braking that I need to really get right. Okay, let me revise my statement then. I'm gonna try to brake, but not autocross braking. I'm gonna do track braking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's places for both. It's just it's kind of like, hey, I've got to get this screw out of this piece of wood. Let me get my hammer because I know how to use a hammer. There might be a better way.
I don't know about equating autocross with hammers is really the right
just
analogy
saying
that we want to go with.
But you on the brake pedal kind of reminds me of a hammer. So,
That's probably true.
You have ABS on most of your cars, so that's part of the problem.
How about you, Kathy?
Yeah, my goal, is essentially the same as Jess's, which is just to do it. It's a thing I've never. It's not my style, I will say, to do racing. Autocross, that's my style. Like, so it wasn't like, I've always wanted to do this or any of that. This is more of a do it because you're afraid of it. And so just doing it is the goal. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Miss Jen?
Yes, my goal.
Your goal.
I think not lifting. I'm still working on that. Yeah, that's probably, just not lifting in the straightaway. The straightaway is my nemesis.
Straightaways here are pretty short, so you shouldn't have that speed fear thing that you do.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Vicki?
Same thing. Lifting on the straightaways. I got to get into the turn.
We have 2 goals between 5 people. People are killing me.
No, it's if I can master this part, I can cross over.
Right. Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Look further down the track.
Yes. And you know what? I'm so busy looking at the boards that I'm not looking at the turn.
You have to look at the apex.
You say that, Bill, and I think that has probably been the single most thing that has helped me. Mm-hmm. Get faster than anything is looking down the track.
It gives you more time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just like autocross. Interesting.
It's just a bigger autocross. It's quite fun. Are you guys going to, I know Vicki and Jen are interested in telemetry. Are you guys interested in any telemetry for or are you just going to go out there and go drive around and have a good time?
It's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Because we have the ability to put it in your car at any time.
How? Why?
Audra looks peaked. I'm bringing Apex.
I know. I was gonna say I'm curious. Like, what is this technology you speak of?
Okay.
So we have some portable units. We have 2 different kinds that we could bring. We have one called an Apex Pro, which is a little light bar. Picture 10 lights, and it's a little like 4-inch by 1-inch cube. And we'll put it on your windshield on a suction cup. And what it'll do is it'll calibrate to what your car is doing and what the track conditions are and figure out how much grip there is. And then it'll light up how much of the grip there is versus how much you're using. And green will be what you're using and red will be stuff you missed.
And then it feeds to your phone.
And then it'll feed to your phone. And then you can actually look at your track, the path you took and the speed you were at and how much of the grip you were using. If you want.
What is this thing called?
It's called an Apex Pro.
Right. And then there's another one, which probably won't be as useful to you because you'll have a coach most likely in your car, but there's one that you can actually play through your stereo or through your headphones if you have them in your helmet. And it'll actually coach you after 2 laps of, hey, you could go a little later on your brake, or hey, you need to brake a little earlier, or brake a little softer, or push the pedal a little more, or go a little wider, and it's got a little TV screen, and it'll actually watch what you're doing and say, hey, you could do a little faster in here, or hey, that was really good. It does both.
It actually talks to you. It's an in-car coach. Yep. It's a Garmin, but it actually, and it takes 2 laps to kind of get it to calibrate.
Mm-hmm.
And
which
then
would be good because this is
I'm already looking it up.
This is a really short track. Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of laps.
The second one, I'll stick with a human coach my first time out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just thinking Jess and Kathy probably would do better, right off the bat with the real person.
That first thing sounds both good and bad, right? Like on the one hand, I love gadgets and technology and data and information. So that sounds awesome. On the other hand, it could be back to the whole overwhelming and too much. And I don't want to think about that because I just want to have fun and drive the first time.
So we used to, Well, we switched over to, we like the Apex Pros, but we used to do a track timer in our car and everything was track timing. But then we found out that everybody was trying to go for fast laps, not focusing on actually driving the track, but focusing on fast laps. So we found out that if we took the track timer out of the car, people were less worried and focused and getting anxiety ridden about getting that fast lap in. Because endurance is not about fast laps so much, and focused on the grip that you have for the track, and it lets you know if you've done well, and you already know your line, and if you're already driving to max grip, then you're already doing well, and just a matter of speed at that point.
And you're not going to watch it; you're just going to glance at it. Maybe
I was going to say, I ignore it. Like, I don't even pay any attention to it whatsoever when I'm in there. I'm just not there yet, but it's nice to go back. Bill, how did I do? Because Bill comes up, Bill just lets me know. So you know what I mean? Like, I just ignore it when it's in there. It's not the one that talks to me because I could never hear it anyway, but just the one with the lights. It's just lights. Like, I don't pay any attention to them. So it's just nice to come back and see how I did. You know what I mean? But it's not disturbing me at all when I'm doing what I'm doing. And I wouldn't really change anything I'm doing at the moment. It's just a way for me to track how I'm doing and how I'm improving. So,
and this is the first year that I actually started paying attention to it because it's been in our cars for a couple of years now. But now it's just like, oh, that's what that does. Oh, okay.
Right.
Because I always thought it was letting me know where I was on the track, and it really wasn't doing that. It was letting me know my grip. And I'm like, oh, I am riding the race line. I'm a badass on this race line, But no, it wasn't. It feels like this is what it's doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
I see
so
that.
So they'll be there, and we'll have the portable ones that you can just stick to your windshield. And if you guys want to do it for like, hey, you know, let's say that the beginning of the day, because it's a 1-day event, right? The beginning of the day, you're doing a 1:20 lap. And at the end of the day, you're doing a 5 or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And you can just see where you were, where you are, and you can compare the 2 laps and say, hey, I did better. And
or if you just want to not do it the first couple times you go out and then do it one time just to see. Yeah.
You know, you feel like you're feeling comfortable and you say, what am I doing? And it can actually tell you, you know, hey, you're doing really good in turns 6, 7, and 8. But this turn 4, you I don't know what you're doing. You know, try to do that one a little better, you know.
Yeah. It all depends on it's just like
but get comfortable first.
Yeah, being your first track day out, I really wouldn't worry about them because, you know, honestly, there is not so much for HPDEs, but a little bit is that we had to focus on so much information when you're in the car that you and autocrossers, you know, that's the one thing about autocrossers that you kind of have that down. Mm-hmm. Like Jennifer didn't even know how to drive a stick, so she had to do that. And
you guys are used to processing very quickly.
Yeah, so
you have to.
Right. When for us doing it, that, you know, you kind of have to get your processes static at that point. So you cannot think about them anymore. And that's you're shifting and where you're supposed to be on the track and other cars around you. And there's so many inputs that you process. But after a while, after you do that, all those processes start to go away, which is the great thing about HPDEs because they help you process those and move them away. That just in the beginning, I don't think an Apex Pro is necessary for Jess or for Kathy as they're just dipping their toes. But the next time, if you said, hey, I want to do this again, then
or
definitely.
maybe late in the day. It doesn't really matter. It'll be there if you guys want it. Audra, you drove with it in the races. Did you even look at it?
No, I was focusing on not puking in your helmet.
That's a good plan. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it's just an option that'll be there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it. And the last thing you need to worry about in HPD is your lap time. It's just, if you were curious, you know, some people really want to know. And some people are just like, hey, I'm just here to have a good time. And
some people just want to sample them, you know.
Yeah.
Everything in between.
I'm just going to be excited about like, hey, I went a lap and did not crash my car. And I can feel good about that.
All jokes aside, like I forgot that it was there. Like by the time that I had calmed down and I was having fun, like I forgot about all the technology that was there. You know, maybe the next time when I don't start off as nervous, you know.
And that's the nice thing about it. You can look at it, you can ignore it. It's just going to record anyway. It doesn't care if you're looking at it, you know, but it's up to you guys.
I think it could be interesting just from the not looking at it standpoint, but if this were something that Jess and Audra continue to do,
you're gonna fall into the hole.
To be able to go, oh my God, do you remember? Like, here's the you know, the visual of the first time we ever did this. Well, not Audra, because you've already done it once, but like, you know, like, oh my God. And then like 4 years from now, you know, do the same track again. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so much better. Like,
it'll be like looking at your old code.
Exactly. You know, a little before and after, but with a track.
No, I totally get it.
Yep. And I do think, you know, Kathy, you at least on the podcast, you seem to like autocrossing. It seems to be fun. You have a good time doing it. This is just the same, just a little bigger. It's not a big deal.
It's just stretched out.
It's just different. And, you know, one of the things that we always try to do with our podcast is we try and learn to drive the different disciplines as best we can with different cars as best we can to be as well-rounded as a driver as we can. And you may find that, hey, I really like this. That doesn't mean you have to ditch autocross. Why? When it can be and.
I know. And
it feels very much a why or when it could be an and.
I'm sure I sound negative and I sound pessimistic and closed off. I'm completely open to the possibility that we will record after the event and I'll be like, oh my God, that's the best thing ever. Like, I know that that's a possibility. I'm not crossing that off or saying that can't happen.
Okay. So I
was
have one.
going to say, I can't wait to do the one after.
Yeah. So I have one request, being remote. Okay. I need to know, one of the four of you needs to keep track of this for me. I need to know if Kathy on the way home is saying, we've got to record the podcast now. We've got to record the podcast tonight while it's still fresh. I got to talk about this. That's all I want to know, because I want to see where Kathy is on the scale of 1 to 10 after her first day.
Well, I packed the stuff. It's already in my bag. So
Vicki will have hers. So
I had a question. Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure.
I'd like to know, Audra, how you feel, because this is your second one and you did the Lemons race. Like, are you now just at I'm super excited for this? Or do you have some level of anxiety? Like, where are you?
It might be boring after the wheel to wheel racing.
No. So this is my fourth, right? Because I did Tamworth twice. I did Thompson. I get to do Lemons with the Garage Heroes in Training. So this is, it's my fourth HPDE anyway. I guess I'm a little bit too relaxed this time because I haven't memorized the track yet. I did have my car in for service to make sure like all the fluids are good and, had everything checked out. I had a slight squeak that I wanted to have checked, but I haven't actually sat down and memorized the track yet, which, before I went to Thompson, which was my first one, I watched all the YouTube videos. I memorized the track. I wanted to know all of the turns. And this time I'm like, I can look at it the night before. I'll be fine.
Jess, have you memorized the track and watched all the videos?
No, this is the first I've heard that I should have even done that. I was
like, wait, what?
No.
You don't have to. You don't have to. As a to go ahead and prep. It's just if you want to. Bill is always barking at me because for me it's like you Vicki, you waste your time learning the track when you can actually be racing the track right out of the gate if you do that. And that's but see, Bill is a savant, so you have to understand that he's a robot, so he does all these things. If he's not learning, he's not doing anything. So,
I see it a little bit like the course walk for autocross, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yes, you should do it. You should do it as much as you can.
Yeah.
But still, when you get in the car, you're like, what the heck was that? That wasn't anything. Like there's still surprises and it's not the same walking it as it is driving it. So I can look at the picture.
I've gotten lost on the track. We went out to Gingerman and I literally got lost on the track saying, I don't know what turn I'm in. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing here to set up for the next 3 turns. And I kept doing that. And I was like, that would have been a good track to learn.
So here's my cautionary tale. There's this track in upstate New York called Watkins Glen. It's a very fast track. It has these things that people lovingly refer to as these blue bushes, otherwise known as concrete walls. Okay. Now, the blue bushes are surrounded by a track that goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And I'm coming around one of the higher speed turns and I'm on a straightaway and there's a bit of topography where I'm going up the hill. And I'm like, I know there's going to be a turn in front of me and I need to set up for the turn. And for the life of me, I don't know if I'm going left or right. And that's a big deal. Okay. Now the track you're doing is relatively small. It looks like it's relatively flat. I've seen the top of it. I haven't been able to.
It's got a lot of runoff.
Right. It's wide open. It's less important. But the thing you don't want to have is you don't want to have the, oh my God, am I turning left or am I turning right? Because in autocross, if you're coming up to a turn and you don't know if it's a left-hand sweeper or a right-hand sweeper or a Chicago box or a slalom, you're going to have the little moment going through your head where you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And that's not what you want to be doing on a track. So what I would like to see is at least memorize a little bit, watch a video like 4 or 5 times with the track map in front of you, maybe, and just realize that, hey, turn 1 is a left-hand turn. Turn 2 is a right-hand turn.
We can have cocktails and watch the video.
I was thinking Friday night.
Right. The event's not till Sunday and we'll be there since Friday.
And
Right?
since you will have a large laminated track map
And
with
alcohol.
And alcohol.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry. And this is the one moment I wish that this was a video, because Jess's face when Bill was telling us to memorize the track and watch the video, she was horrified. And then Vicky said, "You can do it with drinks."
My face just lit up like a Christmas tree. For those.
Okay. All right. So we now have a new game for those of you playing at home. We have the shifting points shot glass track map reading, where you have to make a bet.
No, we're making those. Oh my God, merch alert. We're making
You have to.
I got an idea. What we should do is we should make a game, a party game, like Candyland, in the shape of the track.
And do shots.
Audra,
Shots.
help me.
We'll play the YouTube
I'll bring in the
video.
alcohol. What can I say, Bill?
We'll play the YouTube video and I'll stop it and I'll go, is a left turn or a right turn coming up?
Exactly.
And you get it
I
wrong.
love it.
You got to do a shot.
I love it. I love it.
But if you get it right, you got to do a shot. So you guys
Yeah,
won't.
well, you know.
So at least you'll know the first 4 or 5 turns. So the rest of the track, gone.
This is going to be so much fun. It really
It
is.
will be.
Didn't you learn the track while I was drunk by then? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was drunk by turn 6. I
I'm
don't know
hungover
these,
now. Sorry.
These final
Like the
5
around
are
the
a
world
big
at
blur.
Epcot during the Food and Wine Spectacular.
That's right. I was full at Sweden. All right. That was the big thing when you were in college. Like, you used to have to drink your way around the world. And I don't drink, so I had to eat my way around the world.
Well, that sounds delightful too. I can...
That's true. You know, the games you can play at Epcot. So, ladies, on a scale of 1 to 10 going in, excited?
11. I'm
11?
spinal tapping it.
11.
You're excited because you just want to see them, not for the race. But anyway, what do you think, Miss Jen?
Same thing. Just because it's going to be an awesome weekend.
It's going to be incredible.
I'm very excited.
It's going to be margaritas, Ziploc. I mean, Freezy Pops in this place. But anyway,
That's right.
Miss Kathy, where are you at right now?
I'm going to be honest, because that's how I am. I'm at an 8.
One is I hate it.
Remember, we're going hiking too.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm specifically talking about the track
I
part.
know, I'm just teasing.
But that doesn't mean this. So this is I won't go into a 20-minute digression about me and my mental state.
If you could get that done in 20 minutes, I'd be surprised. But go ahead.
I will be a 10. I'll be a 10 or an 11 Saturday night, Sunday morning. Right now, I'm going to say I'm an 8. But
So
Hey.
I know I'll
Kathy,
be there.
can I just ask you, Kathy, what would you feel would be the worst thing that could happen?
The worst thing that could happen, I don't know, my car explodes.
Your car would explode the same way on a highway. You're not going to go much
That
faster.
would be the worst thing that would happen to me.
But that's,
Too. If it explodes on the way there, that's just as bad.
okay. I guess that's true. You do realize that you will be borrowing cars if your car does have a problem, because there's 2 more that you can borrow.
And bear in mind, I fully understand that my fears, the things that I have anxiety about, are 1% chances. I know that, but this is me, and I'm like Jen, you were saying, my anxieties, or whatever. I'm an open book. That I'm going to tell you how I feel and think. So that.
But if you like, I just see me so much in you right now. Like if you go back and, like I said, our podcast, I literally, when you were talking and I'm sitting there shaking my head, I'm like, oh no, I didn't forget any of that. Like, I remember being there. Like, it was totally overwhelmed and just a basket. And again, I'm the same. I just put it all out there. You know what I mean? Because I don't think everybody does that. You know what I mean? But a lot of people might be thinking that. So, but it's just.
But at the same time, she's like, but I'd do it again.
I'd do it again.
So So
well, like Audra said, sorry, but like Audra said before yours, you memorized the track. You know, watched the YouTube videos.
Nope,
no, she didn't.
Nope.
She didn't even learn how to drive a stick.
Before her first time, I'm saying.
Nope.
Two over what? I didn't even know how to drive a stick shift.
Oh no, Audra. I'm saying Audra.
Oh, Audra.
Yeah. Audra, sorry. Audra does.
Well, Audra's kind of getting up there with Bill.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like
Audra would. Yeah, I feel that she's a very structured person.
Yeah, but then me and Vicki are just basket case in the beginning. It was a lot. It was a lot of information. Yeah.
So we have a story time about Miss Jen, but first we have to ask Audra, where are you on your 1 to 10 scale? Looking forward to this one.
Oh, I'm definitely just a track
11.
Okay. Oh, just the track part, not the whole weekend.
No, the whole weekend.
It's an 11, like
everywhere.
Overall,
Blanket.
This is just going to be so fun. I'm going to go with it's a great group of women, and just it's going to be a blast.
Okay, so let me help Miss Kathy to relax just a little bit. Because we felt like
Bill, it didn't work the last time.
I know.
Do a better job.
You just keep throwing fuel on it, Bill.
It doesn't, but it's so much fun. It's kind of like napalm. It just keeps burning. But anyway, so I will do my impression of Miss Jennifer at her first ever track walk at her first ever track. We're doing the track walk. We're with the same group that we went with Audra that you guys went while I was out getting parts. Same group. We're walking around the track. The only question that Jennifer asked on every single turn, every single step of the way was, where can I be to not be anybody else's way? She wasn't concerned about where the apex was, didn't know what an apex was. Where can I be so no one's around me? And
where can I just be out of the way of everybody else?
That's right.
I'm not worried about the line. I'm not worried about the apex. Just where here do I need to be? Where's
everybody going to be? I want to be the other side. So don't worry about the time. Don't worry about nothing like that. Just I want to be on my own little track all by yourself. So you literally don't have to have any, expectations or any concern really about your performance, because the goal of this first is to be safe, second to have fun, and third maybe get a little better. And a little could be very, very little or a significant amount.
I mean, since it's the first time, it's easy because you're at zero. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? That's how I always think of things.
And there's going to be so many people at zero.
This is the baseline.
I'm just cracking up at this dynamic here for shifting points. You got Audra, who is very structured, and she's the 1, 2, 3 girl. This is what I'm kind of figuring, because she's going to make sure she's.
I think she's faked
prepped.
you out a little bit.
Yeah, she's making sure she's prepped. Kathy, who is kind of stressed out of the unknown. She's more afraid of the unknown than what to expect. And then you got Jess, who's on a high board, ready to just dive right in, like 50 feet up. She's like, I don't care. I'm going.
Sounds about right.
I'm just cracking up.
So Vicki reminds me of Jess, Audra reminds me of Phil, and Kathy, you're just me.
That's right. It's the same thing.
Actually, I'm so surprised because Kathy's usually up for every adventure, so this is definitely like Kathy unusual.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Maybe she just.
It's
unknown.
It's the unknown.
It's the unknown.
Yeah. It's the car. A lot of it for me is the car.
How old is that? Well, what is the car?
It's a 2016 Mini Cooper convertible.
Okay.
So it's not like an old beater. It's not it's not, whatever.
It's better than, we've seen people in significantly way worse.
We've seen people in rentals.
Yeah.
They've gone and got a rental and they've taken it to the track day.
So so for me, it's the car. And it's not even, again, it's not that anything's wrong with my car. And it was more just like, here's all the things you need to check and you need to have good. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like, again, I'm so sorry if you guys don't swear on your podcast, but
you haven't sworn once on this podcast. Don't worry.
I just, you know what I mean? Like it's all those things where it's like, check this fluid and check that fluid. And I made the joke about the windshield wiper fluid, but seriously, that might be the only one I could check myself. Like that's the only one I know how to do. So so thinking about if whatever, I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to mostly hope we're fine. So, and again, I just to So everyone who's going with me is understanding I'm pretty okay now.
Good.
It's been the weeks. It was the weeks leading up to it. And honestly, the thing that calmed me the most was rereading the event sheet. Mm-hmm. The sheet that said, here's the track, here's a video, and the sheet that said, here's what you need to do. And it wasn't like an insane list. Like I said, very similar to Autocross.
It's super low key. I just read it too.
Reading that, it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. Like, because like again, and like I told myself, you can try, I've given myself permission, Kathy. Yes, you can go as slow as you want to go. And I don't give a crap if somebody is like super annoyed with me. I will learn how to make everyone pass me. They will do that.
That's fine.
That's fine. Absolutely fine.
And you will go as fast as you want to go, and they will go as fast as you let them until you point them by, and that's fine.
And I don't feel the pressure to go any faster.
No,
because I don't. Like I'm the queen of point bys. Like you can never say that Jen did not point you by, because like I would prefer to get these people by me and just enjoy myself. And I remember telling Audra that, like, it was just
you're in control.
You're in control. You know what I mean? So if you're nervous about somebody coming up, and you won't have this in HPDE, by the way, this is really just wheel to wheel racing. But like, if you're nervous, a whole group of cars are coming up, I will literally slow down, let them all by, because I will enjoy myself more if I don't have to worry and have that anxiety about, people dive bombing me or, coming in too many cars around me. That made me really, really anxious for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Actually, this year was the first year that didn't make me anxious. Like, and I've been doing it for a long time, but I struggled with that, but I've just become good at, you know what, I really want to enjoy myself, so I'd rather have a little bit of space. I'll just point you by, and whatever. So
Jennifer became comfortable with her own driving, and not try to be somebody else's expectation.
But and that you just have to think of it that way.
Vicki, you have Vicki, you have a tiger stripe story, which may be interesting, related to point bys.
I don't know.
NJMP first race. So we're at a race.
Remember,
we're at 140 cars. We're in a 1974 Capri, old car, out there driving. First ever track day. 3 days after, we knew we loved it. Vicky's looking at her arm, and she's got stripes.
Oh, I forgot.
Stripes all up and down her arm. We couldn't figure out what was going on. Miss Vicki, you care to continue?
So, the car that we were kind of driving, and I don't think it was a track day. I think it was the truck.
It was the race.
The
race.
It was
at
after.
NJMP.
Yeah, it was the race. It was after we did our track day when I actually learned how to do point bys. And you're right, Audra. Sometimes point bys are happening, and sometimes they are not happening on the track. But they're appreciated if you do. So, but I was racing in a truck that didn't have the rubber strip on the door, because that safety piece that holds the window weatherproofing is gone. So all my point bys, I was going up, and granted, I was point buying a lot, to the point when I had about 9 stripes up my arm right here. They were the tiger stripes, because that's what I kept hitting the side of the door. Pointing by, and I kept saying, and I was like, I don't know what they are. What are they?
They're bruises.
Slow. You're slow. That's what it is.
Yeah. Bill's like, I know what they are. Because I tell you, I had so many inputs, and I was driving, looking behind me a lot, that I really wasn't focusing so much in the front, and so many inputs and so much adrenaline. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any pain or anything like that. And I just realized I was kept banging the side of the door. It happens.
Okay. I've got one more question, and then that's all I prepared for this topic.
Okay.
So Audra, Vicki, and Jen are going to be talking about track days, and Jess and Kathy are going to be talking about autocross. For our listeners who have not done this, who may be thinking about doing this, what is one tip that you would give to them that they should look to do or concentrate on their first time out there?
Have fun.
Have fun.
Okay. Miss Jen?
Mm-hmm.
Not worry about what's going on, the people around you. Just worry about your own driving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just don't race anybody, just race yourself. You know what I mean? Just worry on your own self.
Yeah, the only thing that when people go into endurance racing, they think that they're out there racing people, but they're not. You're racing a track. The people the people are secondary.
But I remember even my first HPD, like I was anxious about not really being out on the track. It's being out on the track with other cars around.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once you realize like that, I just kind of let that go, like I'm here because like I'm just want to get better myself. Like I'm not worried about the other people around me. And the HPDs are a great way to introduce this type of racing because it is so structured. I mean, and you're not going to have people passing you or running up on you. Like it's a good way to. But again, like my first one, I was the same way. I didn't know. So.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's like kind of settling in and just enjoying the experience.
Just
being
enjoy
in the
it.
moment.
Yeah. And don't worry about going fast, because you're really going to be focusing more on shifting and braking and the track and really nothing else around you. It has nothing. It doesn't really have to do with speed. You go as fast as what you're comfortable with.
With the track day, my advice would probably be to just, I don't know, just go on. It's fine.
Okay.
It's all going to be fine.
All right.
So I would say it's all the same answers for autocross, right? Like it's have fun. It's, don't worry about the clock. Like just your first day, just go and have fun and do it. Like I would throw out one more thing, which is don't look at the clock, or not don't look at the clock. Don't worry about the clock, but especially don't look at other people's times.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if it's your first day at autocross, you're going to see times that are so much better than yours. Yeah. And it doesn't, like, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter, like, at all.
I'm going to steal to like piggyback on that. So when I first started autocrossing, it was with SCCA, and there was the SCCA novice coach was named Ed, and he was wonderful. And SCCA is really good for, they were good about, they kind of pushed you to be the best driver that you could be. Like, as much as we say, have fun, there are some people who want to do well. And the advice that he had really stuck with me because it kind of piggybacks on everything that everybody is saying, in that, yes, have fun. And what Kathy said, like, don't compare yourself to other people. So back then, I don't know if it's changed, but SCCA used to have, when you did autocross, you had 3 runs for the whole day. And he would always say, for novices, he's like, your first run, your goal is to stay on the course, learn the course. Your goal for your second run is to have a better time than you did on your first run. And he said, and your third goal on your third run is to beat somebody, just pick somebody, it doesn't have, not the best. That's not going to happen, but just try to beat somebody to like push yourself a little bit. And I loved what he said. Like, I felt like that was so obtainable, like, stay on the course and then do better than you did the first time. You're racing against yourself, and then that third run, just try to push yourself a little bit. So that always stuck with me.
That is very similar to the HPDEs. Very similar.
And the other thing, stay on course. That's my goal.
and the other thing too is, like, much like autocross, is that just enjoy the process and don't try to overwhelm yourself if trying to learn everything in one day that they're trying to teach you. Just focus on maybe one goal or 2 goals for that day. Of everything that they're going to teach you, pick one thing. And for me, starting out at Watkins Glen, it was, I am not worried about going fast. I'm worried about my shifting. I want to make sure I'm shifting in the right spots. Next one might be braking. I'm just going to worry about braking. So don't worry about all the information. Just pick one thing that you're comfortable with and focus on that for the day.
Well, realistically, I mean, the HPDE, it is an educational event. So it's so much more relaxed than an autocross. An autocross it's competition. whether you're a novice or not. You are there to compete. With an HPDE, you're just there to learn. And that's the whole focus.
True, yeah. So it's apples and oranges.
More relaxed. Yeah.
It's more like Evo school or some of the other autocross schools.
Right.
I mean, that's how I treat every autocross event, but I know I'm an oddity in that in that viewpoint. But yeah, I mean, I took a whole season and I just focused on slalom, so I could, Vicki, that's a great point, right? Like one thing, pick one thing that of all the things that's going to be thrown at us on Sunday.
Right. Just pick the one that makes you happy.
My one thing, and it's going to be the same if you guys are at an autocross event, especially if it's an educational event. If you can get a ride, once you're comfortable, right? Once you're comfortable going around the track and you're feeling okay, you're not setting any track records or anything like that. But once you're comfortable behind the wheel, which I don't think is going to take you guys very long because you do autocross, it's just a little bigger. See if you can get a ride with one of the instructors. Just to see the difference between what you're doing and what they're doing, not in essence of speed, but in essence of approach and in essence of
how they drive the track.
Right.
Because it might give you some perception of, oh, this is how, the race line, this is what they're talking about.
Like autocross is going to, you tend to, and this is generalities, I'm not saying you guys specifically, but in general, you're very quick, you're very abrupt because you kind of have to be. You've been trained to be because everything comes so quickly. You've got 7, 8, 9, 10 different segments to the race, and you've got 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 seconds to do it. So necessarily you're doing a lot of stuff really fast, and you're kind of aggressive with it. And sometimes more so in track driving, you don't need to be, and you can be a little slower, a little smoother. You can turn in a little different because your turn ins will be different, right?
I remember Audra saying that at her debriefing about the Lemons race.
So it's really good, and I'm not saying you should go do that to be like, oh my God, this person's godlike in their driving, or oh my God, that was so fast, or oh my God, I'll never be able to do that, because you will if you wish to. But just to kind of be able to compare yourself and say, I'm not doing that, or oh, I'd like to do that, and maybe it'll give you something. The big one for Vicki and Jennifer, I think, when they went out there, was they learned what threshold braking was. I'm less concerned with you three, because with autocross, you do threshold braking when you need to. So that's probably not going to be it, but there's going to be something else, and not knowing your background or not knowing how your driving styles are or your driving history or anything like that, it could be something where you're like, oh, that's nice. And it'll also, after this event, I would not be surprised if the three of you were actually better at autocross, because you've cross-trained a little bit and you've seen another way. And maybe it'll help you in the big long sweepers, or maybe it'll help you in the slalom. I'm not sure, but I think it would help you as a driver.
I think I had my biggest leap when I was in an instructor's car. Not so much about him going fast, but him properly driving a race line, because it allowed me to finally understand what they were trying to teach me and knit it all together. Instead of having him next to me telling me where to be, he was actually showing me where to be. And that was, it stepped my game up a little bit. And I think it stepped Jennifer's game up every time that she's been to a new track. It helps. So, I mean, if you have an opportunity to do that, I would strongly suggest you do that. Yeah,
that's interesting to know, because that's the thing in autocross too, right? Like, is either having another driver drive your car or an instructor drive your car. And when you, or just even hopping in someone else's car is what I mean. It's like you're saying, like, they can tell you to go here, do this, but when you see, oh, that's what they meant by break earlier.
That's what you mean by in real time. You're watching them in real time do what they're supposed to do. And now you have something to mimic.
Yeah. And also someone like me who is more conservative, like, okay, we went that fast and didn't die. So that's a possibility, like, that I didn't know could be,
I usually have a good time with a instructor. We have an instructor friend who would take our vehicles out. And then I could see the potential of what my vehicle can do and realize that I can do so much more and push it so much more than I'm doing it, even though, because I don't know what my car's limit is if I'm driving it, but if he's driving it, I know what my car limit is now. Mm-hmm. But that's later.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say do that, first run, second run, but when you start feeling comfortable, the track, you're starting to, the way I look at it was, Audra got to exhale after a certain period of time in the race. So she was like, oh, okay. And she wasn't floating around the track anymore because she was only inhaling and getting like a balloon floating around. Then it's time to go think about that. And that may or may not happen, because I think you guys got 6 20-minute sessions in this event. We usually go for 2 days or 3 days. So there's more time, and it may not happen on this particular event, but if it does, take advantage of it if you can.
Mm-hmm. I think you guys are going to have a great time. I really do.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to have a great time on the track, but the rest of the weekend is going to be just a blast. So
I'll have a great time learning the track. I definitely know that.
That's right. All right, ladies, can't wait to get together with you guys again.
Yep.
This is going to be fun. I think the debrief on this one could be just a blast.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck, ladies. Have fun.
Thank
Keep me
you.
informed. Post as many pictures as we can. I think the both podcast audiences are very curious on how this will go.
For sure.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Thank you,
everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
What villains have you been battling this week? Mr. J? Or maybe even me, Harley Quinn?
Welcome to the Garage Heroes and Training Podcast and the Shifting Points Podcast. We have a double duty, and we're here to report the sad news that the imminent demise of MassTunings is coming, because the ladies are not happy. Ladies, was there an email that came through that caused us to have a part 2 to our part 1?
Yeah, there was an email.
Oh.
So just hot off the press. Email just received.
Congratulations. We look forward to inviting the 54% of the human population to our sport. We want to grow the sport and see you ladies participate and hopefully enjoy it as much as some people who do already. And is that what the email said?
Is that what you're
I
saying?
read it as
That's
go
not
fuck
what
yourself.
mine said.
That was Bill's fantasy email.
Oh.
That was-
It's really not what
You
mine
know what, though? I read it as a little condescending.
Was this
I
Yeah.
was
Thanks.
your
Let's
email
go-
different than that? It wasn't.
No,
it
no,
wasn't.
no.
We welcome you with open arms to our sport, and
First-
hopefully you'll enjoy it. No, that
First
wasn't
of
it.
all, this was a ladies' day, right? We've
Yeah.
discussed that. My favorite, not my favorite part of it, folks. We've started it with folks.
I hate folks.
I don't know. Was that like a non-gender attempt at like whatever? Anyway,
That's what the cool kids say in school now.
yeah. With recent interest from the lady-driven New England Car Club, this Sunday's event is being rescheduled to October 17th. This will give everyone more time to prep and invite friends.
I already invited my
exclamation
friends.
mark, yeah, with an exclamation.
So did we get bumped?
Why does it need to be or when it can be and? We can do
Right.
both.
Did we get bumped?
We got
Yeah.
bumped.
We got
I
bumped.
believe
so-
it's something like bumped, but it starts
On-
with a different letter.
Yeah. On the positive, Kathy has an optimistic outlook on life. I will tell myself it got canceled because they didn't have enough people. But on the reality side, this was poorly communicated. It feels like, yeah, this group's more important than all of you who are already registered. So go yourselves.
Well, it sounds to me like they didn't have enough people, and go fuck yourselves.
Well,
Yes,
the good
like
news is,
everybody from that other club can make that date.
Yeah.
the good news
So
is,
go
I
fuck
can't.
yourselves.
You know
way,
what
I
would have been nice is if they didn't have enough people, they could have meshed the groups.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
and how did you not know already?
Right. It's like we're leaving tomorrow
Right.
afternoon to
Right.
get this event.
Sorry, but I'm an organizer for Autocross, right? I do event planning. In 2 weeks, we have a novice school. We only have 12 people for that novice school. Have I canceled? No. What am I doing? I'm planning around the fact that we only have 12 people instead of the 50 that we planned for. And we will make a good experience for that 12 people. We didn't tell them to go themselves. We're going to reschedule and add in other people.
Or that you're going to wait for some other group that's better.
Right.
Well, listen, as
apparently we're free, so we could go in 2 weeks.
Organize and go. Shouldn't have been a cutoff date. Yeah. If they don't have enough people by this date, we can't have it. And that should have been a week out. Out.
So what's that? So that we could cancel our Airbnb that cost us $1,000 for the weekend?
Or I didn't have to overnight parts to get my car ready.
Right.
3 times.
And didn't have to spend the entire day trying to get, I'm on my second car because as I'm prepping the first car to go, I realized the axle is gone on it. So I had to put that in the shop. So now I'm putting in my second car and I'm overnighting parts to get that ready. So hello.
So I have some late breaking news.
Yeah.
What? I went on to Motorsport Red and I canceled because I'm not going October whatevereth because screw that.
We have an autocross.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, even if I had absolutely nothing else to do that day, I'm not going because screw that. So, anyway, so I did, and I said the default subject when you cancel was unable to attend or something like that. And I changed it to unable to attend due to your last minute postponement because I'm petty like that. And I was nice in that refund request because, I want my money back. But he did already respond and said, sorry to hear that. Apologies for the late notice. But we do believe this will be an even better event now that LDNE is involved. A refund has been issued, but may take a few days for Motorsport Reg to process.
Why would it be
LDNE? Why would it be?
That's that
I know, but
group.
Like, why wouldn't it have been good without them?
Right.
Or do both.
And no insult actually to Lady Driven New England there.
No, exactly.
I've been following them.
No.
And they seem like a really good group.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But fuck MassTuning.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But now I'm wondering, did they bump it because they want to combine the two? Or were they bumping us so they could use the track?
I think they bumped us because they wanted more people. And late LDNE probably said, well, we can't come. We don't have enough people to come this Sunday.
But we can
give
go
us a month. Yeah, that's my guess. That's what it all reads like, which is really to all of the people already registered as Jen had drafted an email and I had drafted an email. We made travel arrangements, non-refundable at this point because it's so late in the time frame. We've taken time off work so we could be prepared to go for this. You've done prep on your car. I stressed about not doing prep on my car.
7 hours. My drive was 7 hours each way. I was prepared to drive 7 hours.
Mine too. Mine's 6 hours I was going to take to get there.
We've talked with May Lynn before, and I think the whole point of her podcast episode that when we had her on was kind of all the people that run the events and everything that it takes to run the events. And yeah, you got to have like a little bit of,
And I mean,
just hopefully somebody learns from this.
If I canceled on them last minute, would they have refunded me?
Yeah.
No, probably not. Not last minute.
I don't know. I'm feeling my inner Karen.
And
at this point, I really am, because that was, I'm sitting here exhausted. I just got my car running properly. I'm getting ready to get it tuned. I mean, I've done a lot to get this, happening. And all of a sudden it's like, I literally tied down my car in the trailer and packed my trailer. And I was like, oh, you're not having it. Screw you.
I made the poor decision to go to the dealer to have service done on my car before this instead of getting it in to my regular mechanic because I didn't think I had enough time. And
you got plenty of time.
Yeah, I just spent $1,000 to have my car prepped for this weekend, which would have been, I don't know, half that if I went to my regular mechanic.
Wow.
Not excited. Did not leave.
And we're also pissed. We got quiet for a second. We're all just like,
I know. Everybody just had a collective grr.
I know. Yeah. Right after we just had a podcast about how excited we all were to do this.
Oh my gosh.
So I'd like to bring on
Kathy,
our-
are you relieved now?
No, I'm a little bit afraid I manifested this.
So ladies, our special guest is coming on. The leader of the MassTuning's event is coming in. He wants to tell us all the greatness about his organization.
Right.
Would you like to welcome him?
Good luck with that. Yeah.
Have a good time.
And
So
again, you know, it's not easy to be the organizer of events, but you really have to, like, I don't know.
You get the consideration of your people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the key thing is communication, right? So either A, have made this decision sooner, earlier in the week, or B, you know, I don't know, just communicate it better. Like certain things we all would have understood if they were like, because of COVID, canceled. We'd all be like, yep, get it. Totally fine. No problem.
Right.
Or if it was, you know, thunderstorms and we were all going to die on the track because of lightning, fine, cancel it. Understood,
in all honesty, I mean, BMW, we usually our first event in April is canceled. Like it's you know, just
cancel. It's fine.
It just is what it is, right? But we automatically, everybody gets a refund. There's none of this like you have to beg for a refund stuff. We're like, we're sorry, and we apologize. We're sorry. We're having a blizzard tomorrow. We have to cancel. It happens every year. We have a blizzard on this day.
And you know, to that point, like I always feel, I've always said this, like you could probably like hit me with your car and like break both my legs, but then if you go, oh, I'm sorry, I'll be like, it's okay.
Like, just apologize and tell the truth. What's the truth of this? What is the truth of this?
Right.
Yeah. You know,
and
don't
just say we apologize.
Don't call us folks.
Yeah. We apologize for the inconvenience or something would have been nice. But also, to your point, it should have been a cancel, not a reschedule, because how the like, I don't have that. Like, again, we rearranged things to make this weekend happen. I'm not doing that again. For
It should have been a cancel and here's your money back, because right now it really makes it sound like, well, you know, they all talked about it and they were all available on that date. And so that's when we did it.
Yeah.
And so I can't do it that date. And
my inner planner has our schedule in stone in January.
Yeah.
You know, and we added this event, which was weird for us to add an event, but you know, believe it or not, we actually try to have a life outside of, you know, this one event.
Jess, Audra, and I booked this in May. I looked back to see when we had paid for it. We booked this in May.
Yep.
Right.
And we booked the Airbnb not long after that.
And a lot of times, like I didn't do a few autocross events that probably normally I would have, you know, tried. It would have been a stretch, like, you know, okay, if I had like a late night gig and then an autocross the next morning, but I would have done it, but I didn't, because it's like, okay, well, I still have this track day coming up. I'm still getting something fun to do with my car, you know? So now
I don't know enough about Mass. This is my very first experience with MassTuning.
Mine too, and did not leave a good taste in my mouth.
No,
not at all.
I don't think I'm going to be getting involved with them. I think I'm just going to go, you know, with our normal race circuits and drag you guys along with them. You'll have a much better experience with that.
Well, and probably get to have the experience.
Okay, except Kathy.
No, as we had a little text anger vent sesh before we did this, and as I said in there, this is probably going to turn me into a track addict now, because I want to go to like a million events at a million other tracks with a million other groups, and then walk in like Pretty Woman with like my receipts from all the money I spent at other people's events.
Well,
Big
not that
mistake.
I'm trying to help you that, but let's plan something, shall we?
We're not done yet, Bill.
All right. You guys keep rolling. I'm just going to break out the schedule because I've got the rest of the year already here.
I mean, no, but like to your point though, 2021 was scheduled at like end of 2020, and then especially because of pandemic, right? We were all like, woo, we're out of the pandemic, we can do shit. And so everything got completely scheduled out like it always normally does.
And by the way, because of the pandemic, when's the last time you took off a weekend to go with your girls?
Right.
To do something, right?
Right.
I haven't done this since pre-pandemic.
My bad.
Well, you know, 5 girls with a podcast.
I know. You know,
I mean, literally tens of people.
We should name this podcast Karen.
Bill.
Karen, loyal listeners,
and Karen.
So, there's that.
As usual, I'm ignored on this, but that's fine.
Yeah, Bill made that joke. He said tens of listeners.
That's right, tens.
I heard you, Bill. I heard it.
That's right. They're frequently, they're not good, but they're frequent.
Yeah, my mom is gonna hear this and she's gonna be so pissed.
Oh my God.
So
what a hot mess.
We've got a Watkins Glen event, 10-9, 10-10. So that's a bucket list track for the ladies.
Yeah, I'm definitely not sure that my first event should be Watkins Glen.
No, Watkins Glen is kind of hitting above their pay grade.
No,
it has a lot of trees.
And a couple walls.
The blue bushes are the problem.
Trees.
I'll take trees over a wall, though. I mean,
okay, all right. Let's really go for it. Okay, October 22nd, a practice. October 23rd and 24th, 24-hour lemons race.
So I was like, I still want to be angry about this, but I will tell you one thing. I have my doubts that track will be my thing, and that's okay. But I will say that crafting and sewing and themes are totally my thing. So if you guys need some costume help or otherwise, call me because I'm down for that for sure.
How about this? We go there. Kathy, you go out for practice on Friday, which is kind of like a track day. Jess, your option, you can do track day and or the race, whatever you're feeling comfortable with. I don't want to force Kathy into a race, but Kathy, you can be pit crew manager with me all race weekend.
That also does not really sound like my jam.
Sounds fun.
But part of that is prepping the themes and keeping everybody, taken care of. And you're more than welcome to race. I just don't want to force you to race.
The making of a costume ahead of time at home alone in my living room, that's my jam.
I'm sorry, we can't race a track in your living room, my dear.
I know, which is why I'm saying I'm like I can help with the pre-work.
All right, well, it's up to you. It would be in New Hampshire, so we'd still get our New Hampshire event for the year done. I'm just saying.
We should see about dragging them in somewhere north in
like New Hampshire
2022.
Okay, that's fine. And then there is the New Jersey.
MassTuning.
There is the New Jersey Lightning event the week of 11, 5, 6, 7.
Jersey's.
What's
Is there
that?
anything further north?
Definitely doable. Well, New Jersey's doable.
It's not terrible.
Really for you guys?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's doable for me too.
I went down to New Jersey
depends
for
on where,
solo a
but yeah.
couple of years ago, and that was
And that's a nice, easy track.
It wasn't a big drive.
Is that just like a track day, or is that a lemons, or what is it?
No, it's just an HPDE, so it would be the same thing, only a 2-day event instead of a 3-day, 1 day.
So let me ask you for that. Let me ask you this.
Sure.
What are the implications of doing like a first track day when it's cold? Like, is that
You should wear a sweatshirt.
no? I mean, as far as
That's it.
like traction, okay. All right.
That's it. It's the same. I mean, it's going to be fine. It's actually usually the only time I would be concerned is if it's cold and wet, because then it's just kind of icky. But the rest of the time, you'll be fine. I mean, we've raced in 33 degrees. It's.
All right. Can you send us via email more information about that one?
I can.
Yes, I did a track day. It was 43 degrees and torrentially rainy all day, and it was fine. I didn't die.
You did. You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I mean, the worst thing is if it's cold and wet, because usually you're going to have to drive with your window down, so your hands are going to get wet, and then they get really cold.
If I have a convertible, does the top have to be down?
It does not have to be down. Usually it would have to be up, actually.
Well, it depends on what they're doing now, because
It's a Mini.
No, I don't have a Mini.
Oh, what do you have?
I have a Miata.
Kathy
has a Mini.
Which type?
ND.
Is it got the standard roll bar, or?
It has no roll bar.
That's gonna be a problem. You can borrow a car from friends who are on a podcast with you. We have.
I mean, is it a rag top or is it a hard top?
Rag top.
Okay.
Is it it's an NB though?
ND.
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 ND doesn't count either. Well, we know people who have an ND that you could borrow. And
I don't have a problem if you guys want to
share
car
cars.
hop.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with doing that. We do that frequently. I sometimes hop into Bill's car.
Jennifer pops over. Our son will be there. We'll have 4 cars there.
Yeah. And we're going to be in different classes. So it's not that big of a deal for us because we're not going to be on the track, obviously, at the same time.
Yeah. No. Well, still send it out. Let's talk about it. I'm very interested.
Okay. Very well. And for you, Kathy, we'll go dressed if you like. We'll make up costumes, whatever it takes to make you happy, my dear. We got to get rid of this bad taste. It's like falling off a horse. You got to get back on. So let's get rid of the bad taste of this event.
She hasn't been on the horse yet.
Well, the horse kicked her in the teeth.
She's got to get on the horse first.
Exactly. I just need to see a horse.
Horse canceled.
The horse canceled. Just did not show up.
Yeah. Somebody just took that horse and pulled it right out from under you.
Right.
No, for me, honestly, it's what you were saying, right? The schedule is already set, and I'm now, unfortunately, in the insanest part of my year every year. Like this until Christmas is just so. I will look at my calendar, but likely it's 2022 for me.
Yeah.
Is that it? Are we spent now? Are we done being angry? Because
Oh God, no! I've got to stoke this fire a little bit longer. So, Vicki, how many parts did you have overnighted to get this done?
2.
How many did I have
parts
overnighted to get this done?
2.
That's 4. And then we took it to a dealer, and then Audra took hers to a dealer.
Yeah.
Procrastination for the win. I didn't spend any money.
Well, not only yesterday. So we were doing a nut and bolt on Bill's car, and he said, I figure I was waiting on parts for mine to come. So Bill drives a modified BMW, and there was just kept hearing banging underneath. So, I had to do a nut and bolt. We corrected that issue. But we kept hearing clicking, and then we found out the axle was starting to go. So we have axles, but we didn't have the axles that we needed for it. So we had to overnight those parts in. So not having enough time for us to do it, the dealership has to do it at this point. And we didn't really even want to take it to a dealership. We appreciate our friend who runs one to go ahead and do this for us. He pushed us ahead to go ahead and do this. So now that car's out. So I'm now trying to pull all the parts out that we have so I can move over and get my car ready, because the one I was planning on is not working. So I was literally this afternoon at about 3:00. My car was not starting until I went back under and fixed it. Finally, I'm sweating to get this thing ready. Finally got it running, pack it up onto the trailer, load it up, including the hat tree, the helmet tree. And now it's like,
I'm
exhausted. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from today. And it was an entire week of us trying to get ready. And I think we actually started a little bit last week, and you know what? That's no excuse really, because you really should time your cars and prep your cars as it is. But when things just don't go well and line up as they should, it was that kind of week.
Here's the thing. They have everybody's address. They know where everybody's coming from. Like these I don't know anybody that would not have had to travel, I don't know, at least 45 minutes. I don't know about you ladies if you're that close, but like people generally travel up to hours to go to these things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in state and I'm still 2 hours away.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I just like what happened.
Luckily, the email was written by a 6-year-old, so it made everybody feel so much better.
Either they didn't have enough instructors or they didn't have enough people.
Follow the money.
But no, yeah, based on the response on my cancellation notice, I feel like it's they just wanted this group there. We do believe this will be an even better event now that LDNE is involved. So they went, let's get you going. And they go, that group went, we can't come this day. So they said, well, what can we do to make you guys come?
Why can't you do
Fuck
both?
all the people who registered.
I think it would have been great with our group there.
Yeah.
Right.
But you could do
I think
both.
they
It's
should
not
just tell
like
the truth.
it's not like you only have one choice.
Right.
Or have a cutoff date and say, due to, not enough interest.
Right.
And then, we are going to have to postpone.
Because that could very well be what it
Figure it
is.
out.
And if that was the email, we all would have understood that.
But that should have been a week ago.
Right.
And if they said that, they said, listen, we're just not having enough interest to make this commercially feasible for us. We're probably going to have to open this up to a open gender event. And if you're comfortable with that, great. If you're not, you feel free to cancel. That would have been fine.
That would have also been fine.
Even if it wasn't an all ladies event, at this point I still would have went.
Yeah.
But we weren't asked or given that option.
So many options they had that were not, I'm canceling and, we don't care about you.
Right.
So
many
MassTuning, if you ever need a PR group, you can contact the Shifting Points podcast for your local representative. We will proofread your email so you don't sound like you don't give a damn about your customers. That's fine. We'll fix that for you. If they need backup, Garage Heroes in Training is available. We're a little more remote, but we'll help.
So, not for nothing, but I went to Tamworth. I forget how long ago this was. This was one of my 4 track days that we talked about recently.
Mhm.
And the day that I went, there was an instructor there for novices. In the novice class, there were 3 people. There was me and 2 other people. And the 2 other people left early because they were members and they could do that. So there's actually, they were paying for an instructor for 1 person. And they didn't send me home. They didn't say, oh, you know what, we're taking your money and, you can go fry ice. They still had the event, even though I was there on the track by myself for several of my sessions.
Well, I don't want to rain on your parade and make you feel like that wasn't significant, but usually the instructors are not paid. They just get free track time.
Because it's the private. It was not a club event.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say we're not retiring on my soon to be future.
No,
instructing.
that I get. But this wasn't. It was not a club event. So yeah. And they didn't send me home.
Nope.
No.
Well, they didn't send you home here. They didn't even let you leave.
Right.
They just said, don't come.
We don't want
We
your
don't want
kind
you.
here.
We don't want you.
So ladies, if it seems like something we can do and we can come up with a plan B, we will. If we can't come up with a plan B in 2021, we will figure something out in 2022.
Yes.
Hey, I can have new tires by then, so I'll feel comfortable about one more thing in my car.
What size tires do you have? Do you know?
245? Is that a thing? Did I just make up a size?
On a Mini? No, that sounds kind of big.
Yeah, I don't think they're 245s.
No, I said 205 over
45, yeah.
Yeah, 205, 45, 17, something like that.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I know a guy who's got plenty of those if you need them.
Well, it's not.
Four track.
I just mean I need new tires, like in general. I just need new tires.
Well, the best way to get rid of your tires and really need new tires is to take them to a track. That is a fantastic way.
Yeah, don't take your brand new tires on the track if you for a track day. Just tear those tires apart.
Just get all the money out. Just take it all.
That's right.
Take all the money.
I've actually seen, I'm not sure, Audra, if you were there at the track. I was walking around and literally a guy drove all the tread off his tires to where it was just flexible. Like the fabric flex was all that was left on like portions of the tire. I'm like, I've never seen that. Literally, that's what was at the last racetrack. He drove the tread off the tires.
Oh, God.
That's wild.
That was at the race. Yeah, that
And
was
some
at
of
the
steel.
race.
And some of the
Yeah,
steel.
he went right through the steel. There was nothing. There was no steel.
Oh my God.
There was nothing.
See,
Don't
now
try
why don't
this
you
at
guys
home.
tell me this stuff earlier? Now I'm like, oh, all right, my car's fine then.
Yeah.
See, because
Yeah, you save
tell
those
it that your
tires for when
car's
you get back.
that's right. Don't throw them away. The only time you need new tires is if it rains. That would be a good
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Now, Vicky, you were saying something about people getting rental cars and going to the track.
I've seen people do that.
It's not recommended.
No, it's not recommended, but I've seen people do that.
Jess and I
But
did
it
an
could be fun.
HPDE. Jess and I did an HPDE, right? And
Midwinter, someplace warm.
That is one thing.
Wink,
Kathy,
wink.
I did think about this for you after we recorded our episode, which still hasn't come out, which is probably about 5 minutes before this one started. There is track day insurance if you were to be interested. So you can just basically take everything off the table, and
Yeah, there's links to it actually right on the Motorsport Reg events.
Yeah, there's a few places you can get that. And it's not that much. It's usually by the weekend, so it's a couple $100. It's not terrible. But if you just wanted to have like, I am good, sometimes it's worth it depending on what it
that's
is.
good to know. I mean, my car is not worth like a lot, but that's
Your
still good
car's
to know.
only a 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Your car is very young.
I've driven a lot of miles.
We've driven a 1974 car on the track. So your car's grandchild compared to that car.
Your car is not old at all.
No, we can take care of it.
Yep.
So, ladies, don't let this be a bad taste in your mouth. We're trying to get you back on this track. Well,
Oh, it's
back.
not. It's not a bad taste about track days. It's a bad taste about MassTuning, but it's not a bad taste about track days.
Okay. And as you probably should know, our team will accept all entries. Don't care what gender it is, except if it's me. They care about my gender for some reason. I'm off to the side, whatever. Booted to the curb. You guys are always welcome to come with us any event, and we still owe you a trip up to try your forte of autocross. And if we do get to an event, Kathy, there's one thing I am positive of. We will make you feel so much better about how good you are at autocross when you see what we do.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna be so horrible.
I don't know. I'm actually not very good at autocross, but I have a lot of fun at autocross.
So, then
You
you're
are
successful.
my spirit animal.
That's right. That's right. We went through the Evo school a few times, and they used the sundial when we were out there. But that's another story. We'll do that later. All right, ladies. Any parting words? Any takeaways? Anything related to our bit of a debacle?
Well, we're still gonna go have a nice drunken hiking girls' weekend, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Jen and Vicky, are you coming, or it's too far for a drunken?
It's
girls'
really
weekend?
far for a drunken girls'
It's really
weekend.
far. I wasn't
It's really
gonna
far.
come for overnight.
All right, so that's code for yes, they're coming, but they don't want to say it on the podcast. Okay. Very well. All right, ladies.
All right.
Sorry this didn't work out. We will get
Oh,
another
we're sorry
event.
it didn't work out. We're the ones that dragged you in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, we
I'm
don't.
sorry
We
this
don't
didn't
mind.
work
We
out.
just say yes.
We just got to say yes.
Just say yes.
Too bad they didn't say yes. Anyway,
wow.
I know we're gonna get a lot of mileage out
And
of
you know
this,
what?
so
They
we'll be
could
with
have
it.
got free PR too.
I know.
Right.
Oh, they're getting
And
it
then
now.
what
They're
happened?
getting it. They just it's not. They don't want it.
They could have been on the podcast. We could have been bumping up MassTuning out there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't
That-
think
that was
my
my-
instructor check's coming in the mail anytime soon for this one. So.
The last line of my email. P.S. Check out our podcast.
That was great. Maybe don't listen to the episode coming up.
Well, I'm going to change it to P.S. Listen to our latest podcast.
Very well. All right, ladies.
All right.
It's always fun. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
All right, bye.